Hey guys, we're here to talk today about Color Zoom 13, a challenge by Goldwell. The theme this year is Beautify. The Goldwell team went to the streets this year for their inspiration. One way that people beautify the urban life is through yarn bombing. These installations, which can last for years, are ways of combining warm, homemade colors with the colors of the street. Other forms of graffiti may be a little more permanent and destructive, but this technique is something that can be removed when necessary. This is about the trend, I should say, of Beautify is about finding the beauty in the unexpected. It's about finding the beauty in the global world, about combining colors and textures. It's about a way of finding maybe some view of something that's a little bit different, looking at something from a different perspective so that you can see a new beauty that you didn't notice before. Finding inspiration on the street is not new. There's a chain of sort of cyclical chain of inspiration that's runway to street, street to runway. People are always finding things on YouTube, ways to color their hair at home. Ombre and dip dyeing may have just been something that maybe kids invented at home, but now people are wanting them done in a more professional way. Uh, People are looking at these colors and finding maybe some inspiration. What are we to do as stylists? Are we to be just tired and throw our hands up? Are we to start lecturing people on the beauty of home hair coloring, the pains of home hair coloring versus the beauty of having it done in the salon? Are we to tell them that, God, you're supposed to be a professional to do this? No, I don't think so. I mean, really, we could choose to be inspired by the people who are trying to do their own thing. And really, some of them are not doing a terrible job, but how can we make it better? We can professionalize it by taking the concepts of ombre and dip dyeing and combining them with discipline and technique, with mixing colors out of the box and matching colors together that a non-trained person would not see. We can take the sort of washed out urban coloring that's been done and elevate it to a new level. So the looks here that you'll see coming up in the next slide, Goldwell, it's, they're pretty urban. They're also fun. The cuts to me are not all that interesting, but I do find the color placement and the zigzagging and the techniques that they use within the strands very interesting. Here you see a pastel shade with some accents of light, bright pastels that are applied in a way that you could never do at home. This beautiful technique is a dark background color with a pre-lightened piece in the front and the bang there, and you'll see a concrete shade over that. That's a 8GB and 8SB mixed together. And then some illumin. It's, I believe, VV et al. And RR et al. Mixed together over pre-lightened hair. The way that these rustic, rich colors combine with the dark really gives us a professional look that nobody could achieve at home. Again, I say that some of the cuts here are a little bit on the boring side, but the color application is not. The zigzag sections highlight the shape of the cut and would be tough to do in your kitchen. The three techniques of placing the color within the strand add texture and pattern to the mix. There's a really interesting melting of color going on through the shape of the haircut, which, again, could not be achieved at home. So the application techniques, color banding seems like it would be easy. It's sort of a 1-inch maybe by 3-inch strip of color that's pre-lightened and then applied. But because you're using diffusion techniques of sort of applying an ombre effect within the strands of the hair, you increase the interest in it. It allows the color to melt down the strand. The shine line is the look that we saw in Jenny's bangs, and diffusion is a lot like what I did in Emily's photo shoot that I did last week in those hair extensions that I pinned in. So again, here are the Goldwell, what fors of the year. Strong shapes, soft shapes, bright mixed with dark, soft mixed with light, color and texture supporting the style. It's it's what they're saying. It really, to me, it sounds like really anything goes. And I think that's exciting because it gives us a lot of range that we can do, or range that we can play with while we look at what's new. Sorry about that clip, guys. So Color Zoom is about trends. So study the trends, look at magazines, look at videos, look at the streets around you. When we go to New York, look at that. Gather images from beauty, nature, fashion, culture. Have an idea maybe of what you want to do based on the looks that are in the collection and what you've gathered together before you start your storyboard. Here we go, storyboarding. This is the image on the left there is from the Color Zoom collection. The two photos of women are two of last year's winners. And then a couple of things that I've sort of taken that I think are beauty in unexpected places or just unexpected beauty. And some interesting juxtapositions of color, brightness, darkness, a little bit of dirt and debris. I mean, what is that chandelier doing there anyway? Here I have the images from, again, 3 of last year's winners combined with 1 of this year's looks, just to kind of keep me on track as I look for things that might work in the coming weeks as I design my own look. I notice the blending that's happening in this section, or this girl with the bang over her eye, is really different than some of the blending that I'm seeing in this year's looks. But I want to take the success of that person and sort of bring it with me as I look for a model. So once you have a look, you need to find a model. These girls here probably responded to a model call and are probably from a bigger city, but here in Maine we may just have to go to the mall or a restaurant with some images in our pocket that we can show people, like, hey, this is what I'm working on. I think you would look really great with some new color. Or I think that you would look really great with some breaking up of your color. Or how do you feel about going to LA next year, you know? Things to look for in a model. They have to be willing to wear the look that you have in mind. They should be able to understand the timeline of the concept. You know, they need to wear this look for a little while because the contest actually doesn't end until the winners are announced and we all maybe travel to Los Angeles to compete. Get sizes and weights of models, have a candid shot taken, show them what you have going on, have them walk for you. Now, here's why I think we should all do it. I think that following through on a concept and breaking out of the LL Bean lawyer, doctor, mode that we're in at work every day, and following through on a creative look and an inspiration and taking it through takes us to another level, so that when our clients are bored, that we can take them to a place that they might not have thought of before. If we keep doing the same old thing again and again, we're sunk. So since this look is a marriage of cut and color, it is important to do the cut first. You want the cut to be enhanced by the color. You want the color to flow with the cut. So here we go. The zigzags are larger shapes containing slices or weaves within to melt the colors together. The background color and the pre-lightening are done at the same time so that you can then have an empty palette to apply the new shades, which here's a list of the formulas. These top two, 7PK and TQ et al. Are the new shades, and then there are a bunch of new formulas here that you may find interesting. I really find it's interesting that now they're letting us mix the mixes from colorants with clear. It used to be presumed that you had to mix them with an N or a G or something, but that's just not so. Now here we look at some bands, and what makes these interesting is that the bands, while they may look like a solid tone, because you're using diffusion within each foil, they really make the color melt. Here we have a little example of a zigzag technique. I believe that the zigzags used on the top of the head sort of let that purple-violet color red spill over the top of the copper, which is really interesting. Now, as you do your style and your color together, Think about how the color will look when parted different ways, because your client may feel flexible and you may be able to get a couple of different looks out of one color application technique. So here we are at the end of our presentation. I really hope that you feel you got something out of this. And I'd like to chat with you each about some ideas that you might have, and I'm sure I've given you confusion in addition to a little bit of inspiration. So I hope that you all make some time to chat with me real soon, because I would really like for us all to participate in Color Zoom. Thanks!